All right, welcome, Susan. Welcome back for another episode of Remembering the Journey. And so we're here to celebrate your graduation from our transformation coaching program and everything that you have accomplished. And really our one goal here today is to give someone else out there a little bit of hope, right? Someone else out there who maybe has a similar story to you, who has struggled with some of the things that you struggled with before you joined the program and before you accomplished what you accomplished, so that maybe they can, have this epiphany and know that, hey, this is something that if they can do it, if she can do it, then I can do it, right? So usually the way we start these episodes is we start off and just talk about, we go over this stuff, you go over your stats, go over just what you accomplished, but then we'll really dive deep into this whole journey and where you started and where you ended up and just talk about all the good stuff. Okay. See if we can inspire someone today.
Sounds great.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's a picture you sent me of this is a very creative before and after.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. So I know total, you ended up losing 47 pounds?
Yeah, actually 50.
50? Yeah, so 50 pounds. I think you started around, it would have been 177 then, and you ended up...
Before I met you, I was 184.
Okay, so it's even more then, right? So you had lost some weight coming into it.
For my biggest point where I was fitting into those pants comfortably.
And what size were those pants? I'm curious.
I think like 14 or 16. Yeah. And the size that I'm wearing in the picture was one of the goals I had, and it's a size 27.
Awesome.
So I bought those in the middle of the program. And I thought, I don't think I'll be able to fit into these, but it'll inspire me, because you told me towards the middle of the program, the first part of the program, you have just the initial weight loss. You're really motivated because you want to see when you want to see a result.
Yep.
Second half, you said, is harder. And you inspired me to go get something or a visual board or something to keep going on the second half. And it was those pants.
Something to motivate you and push you through.
27 pants.
All right.
So it works. And of course, nowadays they make them a little stretchy, so I had a little help with the stretch there. Thank goodness for that.
You know what? It doesn't soften the victory
That's
at
true.
all. It is still a victory. So really well over 50 pounds total for you, but 47 to 50 here in the program. It took you about, I think, 34 weeks from start to where you reached your goal weight of 127, and you entered maintenance. And then you did a few weeks of maintenance with us, and you did really well with that. Let's see what else we have up here before we start diving into the good stuff.
Sideways.
Another good. I love it though. You look you just look so confident, and you look so proud in this picture in a good way. And I love that.
It's a good feeling to finish.
Yeah, to start something and to finish it.
Yeah.
How many times did you try to start this journey before?
Hundreds every day.
Yeah. There's so much truth to that, though.
Every day I'd get up and I'd say, I'm not going to eat this today. And I wouldn't have a plan, but I would say, I'm not going to eat this cookie or that. And about 3 or 4 o'clock, I'd eat it. And then I'd hate myself. And it was just me getting up, thinking I could conquer it with willpower. Yeah. Saying I'm not going to do it. And what my mind heard was, if I'd say I'm not going to eat the cookie, I think my mind heard cookie.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else I was focused on.
That's all it heard.
So, that's the way it
cookie.
works.
Yeah.
So I would eat that thing at the end of the day, hate myself, get up the next day and say the same thing over. And I lived with that.
Yeah. You say it's a new day.
And I tried a lot of other things too. Like I saw a dietitian, a trainer in the gym, a doctor, you name it, programs.
Yeah.
I got labs done trying to figure out if there's an underlying cause.
Yep.
You name it. I'd spent so much money.
Yeah. You were starting to suspect that there was something wrong with you, like medically, that was a lot keeping you from losing weight. Yeah. And now that you've been through the program, though, and you've lost this weight, was that true?
The reveal is it is not true.
It is not
I do not
true.
have a metabolic issue.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing it right.
Right. So. But I think that is something that a lot of, men struggle with this too, but I think it's definitely something that a lot of women struggle with. And
menopause, and we go through so many changes, women, our bodies. Absolutely.
And it's, it's true for a lot of women and men. They just like you said, you start the journey and then you hit a roadblock, you fail, and then you start again, and after failing enough times, I think just so that we don't feel so bad, we're like, there's got to be something going on, and which is natural. It's just normal. It's natural for us to do that, and but really, what was missing was just you didn't know. You were missing some knowledge, maybe. You were missing some.
Oh, absolutely. I thought I had
puzzle
knowledge.
Pieces.
I'm like, I know my proteins and carbs and all of that. And I saw the dietitian, and she started out with the food chart. And I'm like, oh, please. Like I'm thinking, I know all this. I know, but obviously I didn't have a strategy. I knew it, but I didn't have a strategy.
Yep.
Knowing it and applying a strategy to the knowledge are completely different.
Very different things, and and it's another thing to say I'm going to do this thing to lose weight, and then it's a completely other thing to say
then to do it.
I'm going to change fundamentally.
What are you going to do
as a person? In such a way that when I lose this weight, that it really is truly gone forever, and that there's not any going back.
Change in lifestyle. That's what everybody knows they need. Change in lifestyle.
Yeah. It's like, how do we do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Especially after living for 50 years and doing certain things. Like, I'm 53, and it's like I had pretty much I'm set in my ways, I guess. But not, I mean, this program's really helped.
Well, good. So we'll dive into some of the things that you learned along the way and whatnot. But just give us just a brief backstory on you. Anything that really drove you into the program. We know kind of things you tried before, but what really drove you to do this?
Yeah. About a year and a half ago, I had a heart attack. It was considered like a false heart attack, but it was from high blood pressure. And so I run to the ER. I was shocked when they told me, you've had a heart attack. But that was shocking. So they put me on blood pressure medicine, lots of it, 4 different types.
Oh my gosh.
And my weight just shot up even more.
Yeah.
And it was like a trap. And I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Because that's when I reached 184.
Yeah.
And I knew that the more weight I gained, the higher my blood pressure was going to get. And yet that was why I was taking the meds. So that's when I started going to the gym.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to the gym and working out, but I was not applying the food strategies. So that's when I was for a whole year, I was 184, and I got down to 178 within a year. So it was about 6. I mean, I was going hard, too.
Yeah.
I was hitting that rower, and I mean, I was really going hard.
Yeah.
And I lost 6 pounds that year.
6 pounds a year. That's
progress, but definitely not enough progress to make a difference.
Yeah, it's progress, but definitely I can see how that would be demotivating to you, to be putting in all that effort, but not feel like you were getting anywhere. And I can also see how that would fuel that worry that how am I going to do this? Is it the medication? Like what's going on?
How am I going to get off of it? How am I going to stop the trend of going up in my weight?
Yeah.
And feeling out of control.
Absolutely.
Totally out of control.
Yeah. So you had the heart attack. They put you on this medication. You gained the weight. It came on very quickly. You started doing whatever you could. You made a little bit of progress, but you were still struggling. How did you? I can't remember. How did you actually hear about us?
That's the funny part. Honestly, if you want to know the truth, I prayed. I said, God, bring me somebody that'll just tell me what to eat. Because I was, I went to the dietitian. I went to all these people, and they wouldn't tell me what to eat. They wouldn't write something down, and I'd leave, and they'd say, well, here, eat this. And I felt like I'm such a non-structured person. I needed really good structure. The program, it doesn't tell you exactly what to eat, but it's such a structured program that you have enough to choose from to vary, but it's very structured.
Yeah.
So I actually prayed about it then. It was also odd because I came across an ad on Facebook, and I never answer them, never. And I just clicked the button.
Yeah.
And then you popped on.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying, make sure you really come. I've got you scheduled. And but the really funny part was, Matt, when I first started talking to you, I told my son about you. And I told you about this, I think. And I said to him, I said, Joe, I met this guy online, and he's going to help me with my weight. And he goes, Mom. And I said, yeah, what? And he goes, have you ever met him? And I said, no. I said, he doesn't live around here or anything, but I'm going to talk to him online. He's going to help me with my weight.
He could be a serial killer.
And he goes, Mom, let me see a picture of him. So, of course, I have to whip out the one where you're all decked out in your abs, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So he sits me down, and he goes, Mom. And he, like, gets like, get ready.
Very serious.
He's not real. Mom, he's not real. And I was like, Joe, well, first of all, I thought, well, I guess I raised him right.
You did, yeah.
But then I thought, then thanks for protecting me. But then as you can see, you were real.
I was real. I was not a serial killer or any other serial anything that would be bad. Yeah. That is awesome.
Online I met you.
Yeah.
And, you didn't even have to be around. I was real hesitant about that at first. I thought, how's somebody going to train me online? I've never met you. I probably maybe never will. How's this going to work? And you assured me. You said, well, I've got a lot of clients that are out of state, and I work with them, and I was still really undecided.
Sure.
And the best thing you did that helped me was I am not tech savvy. And when you told me about getting online and having to enter all this stuff and manipulate around on a, I'm 53. I hate doing that. But I wanted this so bad, Matt.
Yeah.
And you taught me well. I cannot believe how easy it was with your instruction.
Thank you.
How to work myself around on this. After a while, it was so easy.
Yeah. I could sense some apprehension at the beginning.
But you walked me through it step by step. And it worked.
Yeah, you got through it, and you dove in, and you put everything into it, and you started doing really well. And next thing you knew, it was second nature.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, awesome. So, besides getting in and using the tech and all that stuff, what do you feel like were some of the? You mentioned the structure, right? The structure really helped you. And it's also really good. I love that you pointed out that you were completely remote, like. A lot of our clients, I would say 80% of our clients or more are folks who are local and who come to our facility and meet with me on a biweekly basis, and you know, they're much more in touch with me on an in-person basis with the program. But you were completely remote. So being completely remote and doing this program, what was different about this program? Because you tried all these other things, right? So what outside of the structure, what were the things that really got you from where you started at 177 all the way down to 127? Because that's a big chunk.
It's amazing.
You know, you went from 6 pounds in 1 year to 50 pounds in 34 weeks. So what was the difference?
So honestly, when you went over the program and you told me that I had to send pictures of everything I ate, I'm like, that's me. I need that.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I'm going to have to send pictures.
Extreme accountability.
Extreme, yes. And so I like that idea. And so I thought this is exactly what I need, because I kind of wanted to touch base with somebody every day.
Yeah.
And not only was I going to touch base with you every day, it was going to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. Multiple times a day.
So the thing I liked about that was it made me prepare. There's no snacking. When you know you have to send a picture, you can't send a picture of like a Frito.
Oh, yeah.
So, so you just have to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you prepare them. You put them on a plate. I mean, most of the time I'd have the food gone before I'd even put it on the plate. I'd pick it from the pan. And I had to be the worst at all that spontaneous eating. I'm a little obsessive compulsive.
Yeah.
And I don't know when to stop, but it's structured. So the pictures really make it finite.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting your breakfast prepared, your lunch prepared, you take a picture. And it sort of gives you dignity, because you think, well, I'm worth this. You know, like, because, as a mom, you go through life, you're doing laundry 1 minute, you stop, you got to go let the dog out, then you got to go, you notice there's a dish in the sink, and then you walk over, and I'm doing 6 things by the time I realize, oh, I'm hungry, and then, so you eat, you start eating along the way, and you forget about yourself, and you forget your worth stopping and nourishing your body. Yeah. And so I had major mom syndrome for about 20 years. Yeah. And that was different, the pictures, because that was the accountability I needed.
Yeah. It sounds like it and I didn't even anticipate this, but the way you're describing it, it forced you to abandon some bad habits with nibbling and snacking, and to really to be more regimented in what you were doing, and having to send the pictures, right? So you're not going to send something that you don't want to feel shameful about, right?
That's right.
So there's so many different ways, but yeah. So for people who are listening and they're like, what are they talking about? So as a part of our coaching program, I have our clients send literally pictures of everything that they eat or drink with calories. And most people do that for the entire program. Some people don't, but most people do, because, it's just helpful to have and I just heard a giant noise, so the cat just let himself in.
That's okay.
But so it's good to have another set of eyes on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we think.
Yep.
And I hear this all the time with people who come in and do a consult. They'll say, I know what I'm doing. I know what to eat. I just need you to train me.
Yep.
I just need you to get this weight off me in the gym. And I always have to reorient them and say, that's not it. Right? There's something missing. You're missing something that you don't see, but maybe I'll see it. And so by sending those pictures every day, I can catch those things that you're just not seeing, and then we can fix those things, and then voila.
And the best thing you found for me was something I was completely unaware of, and it's why I was working out and gaining weight, is I would go and I'd work out, and then I would get this extreme hunger from within. It wasn't even like me nibbling or a craving. It was like shaky, I need this. And then I would I'd maybe try to fend it off.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, and then I'd eventually eat a cookie or whatever. So that whole syndrome of working out, getting done with your workout, and eating something sweet. I could not break that trend.
Yeah.
And so I told you about it. And I'm like, you know what?
And there's the
Kit Kat.
All right, come here. Come here, kitty cat.
I decided I would bring that up to you. And you told me about the glycogen stores in the muscles.
Yeah.
And you were like, you need like berries or something. Your blood sugar's low.
Yeah.
And I was like, you mean this isn't me being, undisciplined?
Yeah.
No. And it was a really huge thing.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is my body having a physiological response. It's not me, failing over and over.
No.
So you taught me how to incorporate like a protein shake and berries immediately after I work out.
Yep.
Sure enough, I did it.
Solved the problem.
Got me past those midday failures.
Yeah. And it got you just enough to quench that ravenous low blood sugar hunger where you literally just want to eat anything.
I felt like an animal. Just at the stove going,
yes.
Yeah.
And but it was also not too much to where it would stop you from losing weight. So you were able to make progress at the same time. So, and that's I feel like there were 3 or 4 different things that you learned about yourself on the way that were these kind of false beliefs or preconceived notions that you had experienced these things in the past when you were trying to lose weight, but you didn't know what was going on, and you were able to sort of figure out some of that stuff. You mentioned something,
in my body, just trapped. I mean, and the heavier I got, the more trapped I felt. I was imprisoned by my body. Just and everything was going right, but nothing was going right because I didn't want to be in my body.
Yeah.
I have a great husband. I had a great son, and I mean, I'm so blessed with great life. And I had this ball and chain that I couldn't get rid of.
Yeah.
And I was just entrapped in my body. And you can look at the first picture. My eyes, it's like, break me out of here. I'm just so, I felt so terrible.
Yeah. So. You can tell in that picture, you're smiling, but you're not smiling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly. Let me smile for the camera.
Yeah. You're smiling, but you're not smiling. But in that second picture, you are definitely smiling. You're glowing.
I feel good in my body now.
In that second picture, which is awesome. You're not trapped anymore. I absolutely love that. And you mentioned this in you had sent me an email before we jumped on here a couple days ago, and you you said something about how you feel like you kept creating physiological problems that didn't really exist. What did you mean by that?
Well, the whole weight thing is a physiological problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I was carrying that with me. And I was creating that because I just kept doing the same thing over and over every day. Doing the same thing over and over every day is going to yield the same result every day.
Every time, yeah.
And so I brought that on myself.
Yeah.
High blood pressure, overweight. I wasn't seeking resources. I just feel like, you know, we need resources. And
Need help?
Yeah, it's like you go to college and you get resources.
Yeah.
You know, you don't try to go through life by yourself. You get a partner. You know, you don't some people raise a kid on their own, and I admire that. But, you know, you try to, even then you get support.
Yeah.
So it's like
Takes a village.
these big things that you want to accomplish. You almost always need resources and support. And I just hadn't reached out.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I wonder what it is about losing weight that makes people treat it differently than they would some of these other things that you're talking about. Like you had mentioned, you gave the analogy of giving birth. Like, you don't give birth by yourself. Like there's usually a doctor, or at least, you know, you hope there's, you know, a nurse or someone who is an expert in that field around when you do that. You don't, you know, you don't build a house on your own. Like, you need help with these giant things in life. And what makes people think that this is not just as giant of a thing?
Well, and it is. Like, you go into childbirth and you know there's a life risk, and you know doctors are important, that resources are important, but gaining weight and getting physiological issues is such a slow process, but it's just as dangerous.
Yeah.
It comes on and it's so slow.
Maybe that's part of what it is that it happens so slowly. It's like that. It's like that analogy of the frog in the pot. Yep. You know, you put the frog throw a frog into a pot full of boiling water and he'll jump right out. But if you put him in a pot of
haven't heard that
cold water and you slowly raise the temperature, he'll boil to death. You know, you ever?
Yeah, I have now.
It's that kind of mentality of it just happens so slowly, and then you think, well, you know, I made myself this way, I can make myself not this way. But then you just keep running into the wall. So I love that. I love what you said about that, in that it sounded like you just reached a point where you were like, okay, how many times have I tried to do this?
Well, you know what got me? I was sitting at home one day, and I said to myself, if I could have, I was just being really brutally honest with myself. And I thought, gosh, if I could have $2 million or be thin, I wonder which one I would pick. And I'm like, be honest, Susan. And I'm like, I would pick being thin over $2 million. Like, that's how bad I wanted it.
Yeah.
And saying that to myself, and I know there's other people out there that would pay a lot of money. Yeah. You just got to think, how bad do I want this? What would I give up to live in a thin body? Sure. And like I said, I felt trapped. And I thought, wow, that's severe. I'd pick losing 50 pounds over $2 million. I really want this. And then I admitted to myself, I really want this. Yeah. And I thought, I can't make $2 million in a year, but I can lose 50 pounds in a year.
You can lose 50 pounds.
That was the thought I had when I decided, and then honestly, it was like the next day I found you on the internet.
Is an answered prayer. Yeah. Is what that was. Yeah. And what you just said, though, because one of the things I noticed about you as you went through the program, everybody has strengths. Everybody has personal strengths, that things that they're uniquely good at or gifted at, or that they're just better at doing than other people. And everybody's different. But I always like to try to highlight some of the things that I noticed as a coach with my clients who go through the program, because it'll help other people to recognize, that there are things that they can do to be better and to get there and to make sure they finish the journey. And what you were just describing about, you had this mental process where you sat down and you actually thought through, do I want $2 million or do I want to lose 50 pounds? Yeah. Like, you took a moment to stop everything you were doing and you really thought through that thought process. And that's one of the things that I think you are stronger than the average person at, is being reflective. Like, just reflection in general. I remember during a lot of our check-ins on Zoom or on the phone, a lot of our conversations were around where you said you had a feeling that surfaced that hit you in a way that you didn't like, and a lot of people just gloss over those feelings. They don't stop and put them into the light and pick them apart and figure out, why am I feeling this way that I don't like? But you did. It's something that you did more so than the average client. And what I loved about that is that you would stop and you would really spend time on those feelings and figure out. And then, when you came to your check-ins, you would say, okay, this is what I felt. I really spent some time thinking about it, and this is what I think it means. And then you would always have some sort of a follow-up to how that was going to change you or change your approach moving forward. And I think that was such a crucial part of you, because I taught you some things around food, right? I held you accountable. I taught you a few things about food, and I helped guide you through that process, and I held you accountable to doing things. But there's that deep work that I bring up over and over and over again that people have to do to make sure that they don't just do the thing to lose the weight, but that the weight stays off.
Right.
And I think that was something that you did really well, that I wanted to point out, that if there are other people who are either already in this program or they're thinking about joining it, can know that it's really powerful to stop and slow down for a second.
Absolutely. And I was carrying a lot of stress. And that's really, I had to figure out a way I had to change my whole lifestyle because of my blood pressure. So I had a lot of stress. And eliminating that weight was one way to eliminate stress too.
For sure. And so a lot of that blood pressure was driven by the weight and driven by you stressing out, right? So
I think they went hand in hand.
And would I be out of line if I said that somewhere along the way of your journey in the program that you learned some different ways to process stress and to process the things that used to stress you out? I really thought hard about why I had chosen to live with that for so long. And I think it comes down to feeling like you don't deserve anything better. I think it's easy for a mom to fall into that trap. And mine was shame-based from childhood. It was just not really good growing up. My mother grounded my sister for being overweight, and that was really hard. So I just always thought negative. I didn't think eat for health, eat to satisfy your body, eat to... there's such a wonderful part of eating that this program's helped me with. And I've learned to kind of look at it positively. And I was looking at it all negatively, like fighting the food. Like, and I grew up learning that, and I'd carried some misbeliefs with me. And this program really helped change it from food is negative, food is something I have to fight. Food is something that I have to resist, to embrace food, enjoy food, celebrate food. And though I love the program, it actually made me enjoy food more. Because I would eat to satisfy, and it was sustainable. Like you always use this word, the program is sustainable. And I thought, I wonder what he means by that word. And then I started eating it, and you eat just a little, enough that you're full and satisfied. And I thought, for the first time I felt sustainability. And then, now I was one of those individuals, and everybody's different, but I was open with you, and I said, I need to have cheat days. Because my biggest fear was this was going to be a big self-deprivation thing. And the reason I started getting heavy, I had anorexia and bulimia when I was young. And I had to go through a little psychiatric therapy. And I had to learn to get away from what's called deity. Like, well, dieting, that's the word. Dieting is deity. You deprive yourself of something. So I had gotten over that, but I was wrestling with food still. And what part of it was, I wanted to stay away from depriving myself so much that I was letting myself be happy and just eat. I wasn't expecting the hypertension at the end. I think I liked myself a little bit too much there for a little while. So, but then when I got on this program, I didn't want to go into deprivation. Yeah.
or go on a program that I hated it so much
Yeah.
that when I got off, I was just going to eat a bunch of chocolate and go back to my old ways.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest fear. So I talked to you about it during the program, and I said I want to go off like every 2 to 3 weeks. I want to go have what I call a cheat day, and I would tell you. And that really helped me. I'm glad I did that. I finished the program longer. It took me longer.
Yeah.
I know there's some people that are just amazing. They get on here and they lose like 5 or 6 pounds a week, and I'm amazed at their discipline. But I had to have that little break in between.
Yeah.
And it took me longer, but I'm glad I did it because now it assimilated it into me into what I need to live like now.
Yes.
So now I sort of mimic the program still.
Yeah.
So I have, basically good food, and then I have my splurge days.
Yep.
And that's just really how I needed to do it all along. And I enjoy the splurge food more now.
Oh, yeah.
Like it enhances it. Like we go out to dinner and I'm just like,
yeah.
I get emotional just thinking about it. No.
You're like, I actually get to eat this food without guilt. Right. Like that
Because
is
you planned it.
because it's planned, because you're doing a great job maintaining, and it's planned. It's not off the cuff. It's not a discipline issue. And how much sweeter are those cheat meals when you get to go into them with zero guilt?
And when you don't eat it for a while, it enhances it.
100%.
It just does.
Yes.
Where I was just snacking on it all the time and not appreciating it.
100%.
So yeah, I like the lifestyle I've adapted to, and I think the program taught me how to do that. I know there's some folks out there that think, would I ever be able to get to that point? Because I thought to myself, am I really going to normalize like that, where I can choose to eat healthy for 5 days and then have a weekend where I, splurge a little? But it really molded me. After you do it for, I think it took me 9 months or something to lose the 50 pounds. It becomes
weeks,
habit. It does become habit.
It does.
And it's a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. We really, the program is built to not be something that you do to lose the weight and then you stop. It's built to literally carry you through a journey. Yeah. The first 6 weeks we go hard.
Yeah.
We rip the Band-Aid off a little bit and we get a lot of momentum going. And then there's a middle phase where we make it sustainable, but still are doing what we need to make sure you're losing weight. And then in the end, because almost everybody gets to their goal weight and they're all very afraid that they're going to gain it back.
Oh, I was very afraid. I kept telling you every talk we'd have, I'm like, man, I don't want the program to end. I'm afraid this is my safety net.
Yeah. It's
but
very
we wound it down slowly and you weaned me off.
Yes. And that's a crucial step that I think, and not to say other programs are missing it, but it's just a step that people skip, right? It's a step that people forget that they had to learn how to lose weight, and they also have to learn how to live life, actually live life, and maintain that weight. Not to live always feeling like they have to deprive themselves or to say no, but to be able to have their cake and eat it too. It is possible. And I like to say we pride ourselves on putting a lot, probably almost more effort into that part of the program than any other part, because what good is it if you lose the weight and then you gain it all back? So we peel it back like an onion. We peel back the layers of accountability until you feel confident that you could do it. Yeah. It took you,
it worked.
I think, 4 weeks of maintenance
to
and
be like, okay,
back.
I haven't sent Matt some pictures, and it'd be funny. I'd make a meal and I'd go look for my phone real quick to think about taking a picture, and I was like, oh, I don't have to.
Yeah, I don't have to do that
but
anymore.
it got my mind into thinking, okay, prepare some food, sit down, make a meal. You're worth it. Don't just run through the day and throw stuff in your mouth. And
yes, absolutely. Wow. So awesome journey. I think there's one more picture on here. Oh yeah. I hadn't shown this. This was your actual weight loss graph.
There we go.
50 pounds, no plateaus. Love that. And then
there's a couple. Like that was my Italian cream cake there.
Oh,
the
that giant,
highest
the peak there.
That was one of my cheat days.
Yes. Yes.
My niece brought an Italian cream cake home.
Uh-huh.
And I probably enjoyed that cake more than I have ever enjoyed a cake.
Because you hadn't had anything
Right.
like that in such a
So,
long time.
I want to keep that feeling where when I have a piece of cake, I just love it.
Yes, it's not just another day of cake.
Right.
Yeah. And then this picture you sent me, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And tell me about that picture. Why is that picture significant to you?
That picture is taken, first of all, because it's the size 27 jeans that I had tried to fit into.
Yeah.
And then before I went on the program, I was so uncomfortable when I would sit.
Yeah.
I couldn't cross my legs. Like I'm sitting at a table right now where I'm comfortably crossing my legs. I probably couldn't have done that before. And that's why I said I was trapped in my body.
Yeah.
You know, I just could never get the right position, and I was starting to get fat on my back, and I could feel it when I would lean into the chair. So I said, I really want to feel good in tight clothes again and be able to cross my legs over and just feel like I can relax into my body.
Yeah.
And I sat there and thought, okay, take the picture. I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
So I accomplished that goal. You know, when I was younger, I did try to lose weight for how I wanted to look.
Sure.
It is not that way anymore. I mean, and I love being older because you have a lot of wisdom. You live for a lot of the right reasons, and I'm really happy about myself for choosing those right reasons. But I think that basically I just wanted to feel good in my body, and I wasn't expecting to look like the front cover of Glamour anymore.
Sure.
But it feels so good to lose weight for the right reasons.
Yes.
And in that way, I think that's why it was successful too. I had to have a paradigm shift that I'm losing weight to heal myself from the inside out.
Yes.
I mean, the blood pressure definitely drove me there.
Yeah.
But I encourage people to lose weight for the right reasons. And trying to heal yourself from the inside out is sure the way to go when you eat for health.
Yes.
You celebrate food.
Yeah. And the rest happens as a byproduct.
It does. And that's what's so exciting.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. It really is the little things, right, that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
That also are a lot more rewarding than even the number on the scale ever would be. And I'm just so proud of you. I'm proud of you for starting the journey and for finishing it, and for growing and learning along the way. And I'm very happy that you decided to come on here and to take the opportunity to share your experience and to inspire someone else out there who's listening, who is probably right where Susan was, 40 weeks ago, and is feeling trapped in her body and is struggling with everything that you described over the last, 30, 40 minutes. What would you say to those women who are out there right where you were, and they're sitting here listening to this, and they're like, no, how could it be?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, first of all, it's worth the investment because it's either spend money now and feel good in your body, or spend $4,000 when you have to go to the ER again because you had another heart attack or hypertensive situation.
Yeah.
So it's really an investment. We should invest in our bodies.
Yeah.
We invest in homes, cars, college, all kinds of stuff.
And a bunch of stuff that we don't really
that we don't even need, but we don't think to invest in ourselves.
Yes.
And it's important to do that when you're older.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you can eat all kinds of stuff and go, I'm going to go run 5-10 miles and burn it off. I can't do that anymore. I have a knee replacement.
Yeah.
And it's like we get slowed down a little mobility-wise. You need a strategy. And I just encourage people to embrace a strategy with an accountability resource. And I was a little hesitant at first sharing something so personal with someone I didn't know.
Sure.
But the thing I liked about you the most was you're probably about the most non-controlling person I've ever met. It's like you're in the most controlling spot.
I don't know if my wife would agree with that.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right on that. No, but I just thought, is he gonna tell me what, no, you shouldn't eat this, you didn't, I didn't know how you were going to be.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated you during the program because you allow individuality.
Yeah.
Each person, I guess, is totally different, and you picked up right away on the fact that I was different.
Yeah.
Like you're able to pick up on the person, and you're really easy to work with.
Yeah.
And you're not judgmental at all.
Thank you.
My goodness.
Thank you.
And I just feel like you hold in high regards each one of your clients the same. And I don't feel like you judge, and that really got me through. And at first, when I went through the program, I wasn't using. You tell people that they can call. You have a 30-minute talk that you can do every 2 weeks. And at first, I wasn't utilizing that, but then I started, and it really helped.
Yeah.
It really helped because you don't know what kind of things you'll bring to the surface when you're given the opportunity to start talking. And it's so funny because weight is considered a personal thing.
Yeah.
It's like, how often would you just go out on the street or go tell even a friend, even a close friend?
Sure.
We're just kind of taught to keep our weight. We have to self-regulate,
Yes.
And I think that was the hardest thing for me was to go, okay, I'm about to open up to somebody and tell them really personal things, and I'm going to rely on them. I'm going to have to trust them. And it was a great partnership.
Yeah.
And making that first step is the most important thing. So I would tell people to dive into the program, give you a call.
Sure.
And because that's the hardest part. Because when I got into this program, I doubted it. Because I'm like, is this going to be another one of my 20 failures?
Sure.
And as I got through, it's like, oh, there's 10 pounds, there's 15. And you know what? It really is real. It's real. I can tell my son it's real now. No, but I just, the program takes care of itself.
Yeah.
Like once you start, you're on it.
Yeah.
Like
I tell people if you work the program will just work for you.
To me, it's been a miracle. It's been a $2 million miracle. No,
It did not cost her $2 million.
No, not even close. But yeah. So anyway, I'm thankful. Thank you for what you do and being there for people. And I feel like I've been set free. And I'm just so thankful.
Amen. On that note, let's go ahead and end this thing. Every time I end this, everybody knows I do that little snap thing. You want to do the snap with me?
With you?
Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, I'll count it out. 1, 2, 3.